pepper, and fine herbs and spices to ensure a consistent taste every time. And there you have it, your original Ghana jollof.
Jollof so cool.
Jollof so cool. Tasty, yeah.
What is going on here?
Enjoy jollof the Ghana way. Gino jollof is made with a perfect blend of tomatoes, pepper, and fine herbs and spices to ensure a consistent taste every time.
This advert is FDA approved.
There's that thing that society thinks is the norm.
Well, most importantly, nobody has a gun to our head.
That's true.
You know, having children and having to be a single mother.
Just being us. So as a young lady, there's what society expects from you to be the norm. You're exposed to a lot of things, including the fact that as a young lady, you should wait till some man finds you appropriate enough to pick you, wed you, take you to his home before you make children. And when it looks like you have defied the societal norm, you begin to look like an outcast, not to only your family, but to your friends and people that prior to you being a deviant in society were your bosom friends. I always say to myself that I wish that all the things that my parents told me about, don't get pregnant, oh, if you get pregnant, I'll give you only one cloth, oh. I wish they were just telling lies. I would have had like 3 kids by now, because I think I've spent too much time waiting. Maybe if I had them in my teens, they'll be looking my size, like my siblings. I think sometimes society doesn't tell us the truth. That's what I think. I'm going to sit with people who have been through that phase and know what they have experienced and know what it feels like to not have followed what society deems right and maybe the benefit they had from it. Karen Kashkane is a celebrity stylist and Natalia is a media personality. She's got a sweet voice, worked from the Western region. Can I tell you the truth? This is the girl who broke EL's heart. I won't forget that in a hurry. That's the lady that EL keeps talking about, you know,
wow.
that broke his heart bad, you know. And these 2 ladies are my guests today on Just Being Us. It's a pleasure, a huge one for me to have both of you join me. I just want us to sit here and be ourselves and tell the truth about what we know and what we feel would impact our daughters with. When the time is appropriate. So once again, you're welcome.
Thank you.
On the show, we take pledges, no? We take oaths as well. Who takes the first oath? Who would take the pledge first? You have your own words to use, you know. Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe you go first.
So what exactly?
So basically, like I, Ms. B, pledges to say everything but the truth.
Right.
Hey, no. Not about the truth, but every truth about myself,
right.
And be myself in this conversation because I'm part of the conversation.
Right.
So that's
okay.
basically it.
So do we have to take our turn?
Yeah, you have to.
Hey.
Okay. Okay. So, I, Natalia, I am going to say. A huge chunk of the truth.
A huge chunk, I like that. No, that's being sincere, you know.
A huge chunk of the truth about my story, like 90%.
Hey, that's huge. That's really huge.
Okay, my turn. I, Karen, pledge to share my story as it is.
Yeah. So cheers to us.
Cheers.
Okay. All right. So now that we have that out of the way, let's take a break. When we're back, the story begins. Just be us.
Just Being Us.
So welcome back. This is Just Being Us right here with me, Miss G. If you followed before the break, you will know that we're about to talk single motherhood. My mother constantly, look, I can't forget that in a hurry, even though she's passed. I still remember how she said to me, if you get pregnant, all I have is one cloth. I'll give you that cloth and I wash my hands off you. You know, and constantly it rang in my head. And so there was not even an opportunity to say, look, I feel this way about this person, or they feel this way about me, because if you get pregnant, kept ringing in my head.
So she put fear.
Too much of it. Too much of it. And my father will not even, you know, he won't even look your way. It's almost, I think I also had that thing where my father would say, that's your daughter, speak to her. So when I see, and even when I see people who are my age mates, who maybe got pregnant and given birth, and I stand with them and have a conversation, hey, you're going to get polluted. You know, of all the people in the neighborhood, why is it this girl that you're standing with? This one that just completed school?
I think it's an African thing, isn't it? I mean, definitely an African thing. Because, I mean, if you've had the chance to live somewhere else, you know that by 16, 17, once you're done with prom, you're an adult already. Yeah. So technically, I won't say nobody cares, but you're an adult. You make your own decisions. You're responsible.
Hey, but not when you're under your mother and father's roof.
So it's a part of a world where we live with our parents till we're married. We are supposed to be married and then leave home. But for me, I remember when I finished uni and I was in the UK, I was living by myself. I wasn't living with my mom. And that's when stuff happened.
No, so you even have a different space altogether.
Yes.
So someone would say, oh, and
I wasn't living at home. You know, maybe if I was living at home, the other factors like the fear, the protection, the, you know, what's the word? Overprotection from our parents and all that. And maybe the lack of freedom wouldn't allow me to go that far to the extent of getting pregnant. But it's just because I was my own adult, I made my own decisions, I didn't have any form of control whatsoever. And that's just because I thought I was an adult, you know. So I think it's a part of the world where our parents, you know, keep hammering all those, you know, fears. Not fears, I mean, they're being protective, and that's what parents are supposed to do. You know, you are guided. Let me put it in a more positive way. You're more guided. I'm not sure
we are guided, though, because they don't tell us the truth. You know? It's just more like, oh, don't get pregnant.
You know, but you see, what's the truth and what's not the truth?
Well, I think the truth is that you know, parents need to have more open conversations with, especially their daughters. Sure. I always tell my male friends who have daughters that you have huge responsibilities. You need to make this child your girlfriend. You need to show her what the standards are for when she meets a man. You are her first introduction to a man. What you show her is what she looks for in all the men she will meet in her life. So you have huge duties as fathers. I think that my parents they're amazing. They did everything they had to do. Me, I was just whatever I was. But I think for me, where there was a bit of a problem is because I didn't have anybody have conversations with me about sex and all of it. So I sought it from friends. And every time, it breaks my heart when I have to say, but the first time I actually had sex, I literally threw myself at the guy as an experiment to see what this feels like. I don't even think he liked me. I met him later in life, and we had a conversation about it, and he didn't even have a memory of what it was, what exactly it was that we did, because I had a group of friends, and at the time they had all had sex, and a lot of our conversations, like 70% of our conversations and our movement was they talking about it, and I had nothing to contribute. So I feel like, so this boy lived like 2 houses away from me. And I feel like, man, this guy, he's available. So let me just go to his house one time and just, you know, see whatever this is, you know. So I offered myself on a platter for a guy as a first experience of sex. And today it saddens me because if I had known or if I had a better understanding, clearly I would not have silver platted myself for any guy. You know what I mean? But back then, it was more of, I want to be included in these conversations that my friends have. And these are the only friends I have. You know, I don't want to seem like the
odd one.
I had to be included, you know. So today, I say, not just to my male friends, but to anybody who has kids, that it has to be you. You need to have the conversations with the child. Don't let it be another person, you know, or even her friends, because they may not really explain what it is that he or she really needs to know. And if you miss that period, you have missed it all.
True.
You have missed everything.
True.
And there's no telling what it brings you. Fortunately, that guy was not the one who gave me a baby when I had a baby. Because after him, then it was kind of a thing. I mean, Pringles, once you pop, you can't stop. You can't stop. You know, so once I had popped, I thought, okay, you know, so I kind of met this guy a little later on down the line, and it was one, and for whatever reason, it was such a big deal. Like, it was a conversation to have with a guy, you know, like, oh, are we going to have sex? Are we not going to have sex?
Really?
Yes. Yes, I mean, you know, where I found myself, the circles I found myself with or in.
It was a big deal.
It was no big deal, you know. And I'm talking when I was, this was about 17, 18, 19, you know. It was, you know, it was a common thing. It was like, I mean, you haven't had sex, you know, and it was a thing. So, I mean, now, honestly, it really, really, really breaks my heart that I had nothing to hold on to. I didn't know any better. You know, if I knew then what I know now, gosh, I could have been the president of Ghana.
No, that's true though.
So
also because I feel like I don't know whether our parents shy away from those conversations.
Yes, they do.
Because I don't think my mother has ever sat me down and say, hey, do you know what it takes? You know,
it's not part of our culture to be so open like this with our kids. But I mean, for me, my daughter is turning 12 in a few days, and you know, having an almost teenage daughter. I mean, she's already acting like a teenager already, and we have such adult conversations.
Really?
And yes, we
Even
do.
at 12?
At 12. You know, my daughter lives in the UK, so you know these kids, they talk more and they, you know. So for me, having a conversation with my daughter, I vowed that I will not, my daughter, make the same mistakes that I made. And the mistake was not waiting. I only moved to the UK after uni, but even though I was back and forth, I went to live in the UK when I finished uni here. So I still grew up here. But I'm just saying that leaving the space of
where you felt that you had freedom.
Yes, leaving that space where I was protected and guided, which is my father's house, and being in a place where I had all the freedom. It's like locking a dog in a cage for a long time and letting it loose. It will go anywhere, you know, and that's how free I felt. I felt that I could do anything. I felt like, you know, nobody could tell me what not to do, you know, so I was just out there and living life young, wild and free. Maybe I had to learn through my experiences, and life is going to happen like that for everybody. No matter how much we sit here and talk about experiences to let other people watch it,
will still go through
a whole lot of other women who would go through it.
Absolutely.
You know, so in hindsight, I always say that there was our plan and there was God's plan. So now I sit back and I put one and two together. It's like, it had to be God's plan. No, seriously, because if it was any other way, I wouldn't be where I am right now. I wouldn't be more enlightened. I wouldn't be more experienced. I wouldn't know what not to do. I won't be able to be teaching my daughter how not to end up in a situation like I did. For me, I met this guy and we were dating. It wasn't like I was experimenting or anything really. We were just dating, and you know, I thought we were free to do anything. But like in hindsight again, now I would have probably been on protection, used more you know, what's the word? What's protecting yourself against?
Morning after pill?
Yeah, you know,
Yeah.
all those, yes.
Yeah.
You know, birth control and all that. Maybe
yeah.
I would have. But I was just so free and carefree, and I didn't think of the consequences. And I also thought that, you know, we were in this together. That's it, me and him. Right. But it turned out that I was in this
all by
myself.
I know.
You know, so maybe if I would go back to that time of my life again, I would make sure that we are in this together. Yeah, I think a lot of us are in relationships where we're not really sure if we're in this together.
When we think that we are in it together until we realize that we're in it all by ourselves.
Yeah.
You know, and these things really happen. And I've had conversations with my friend where I said to them that, look, I don't think my parents told me the truth. No, sincerely, if it wasn't the father that was frightened, I was the first girl, so I didn't want to disappoint.
Yeah.
I'm sure I would have had children by now. Like, what else was there to do?
Yeah.
You know, dance school. You continue education anyway.
But here's the thing though. The thing though is that we still had choices. When we got pregnant, we could have chosen to not have the baby.
That's true.
I mean, there are many, many people who got pregnant and did not have the babies. The fact that you get pregnant does not mean that, you know, it's cast in stone that you need to have the babies. We made those decisions.
Let me tell you what happened with me.
Tell me.
When I was in the UK, and I got pregnant. So, I mean, I was thinking, should I keep this baby or should I not? Then one time I decided to go to my sexual health nurse and, you know, and book an appointment to have an abortion. And under the NHS, they give you a date. So, you know, the NHS is where, like, the state funds all the healthcare, and it's like NHIS here.
Okay, here.
So you call and then you book an appointment to have an abortion, which is a major surgery. Yeah. So the dates they gave me, if I had gone to do an abortion at that date, my daughter would have been 6 months in my stomach, and it would have been impossible.
Right. You didn't know until then?
No. So they gave me that date.
Okay,
when I calculated it, the pregnancy would have been 6 months. You know, so it's either that or you go to a private clinic, and I didn't have the money. It was, I think it's £500 or so to go to a private doctor and have an abortion. So for me, it was have baby or not, or you know. So that's what happened with me. But sometimes, I mean, I remember when I had my daughter, and I'll be looking at her with all the emotions, and I'll be thinking, oh, did I actually consider having an abortion? I'm so sorry, God. Like, you know.
I know.
And
I know it's not easy at all. I lived with my parents when I got pregnant, and when I got pregnant, I didn't even know I was pregnant. That's how silly and stupid I was as a child. And me as a teen, I was very, very skinny. Honestly, these days I hardly see anybody who looks like what I looked like when I was really skinny. And I mean, I didn't know I was pregnant. I lived with my parents and nobody knew I was pregnant. We all didn't know I was pregnant, you know what I mean? So when I started feeling sick, and it wasn't like any crazy sickness. Of course, now I've had too much children, so I know what it feels like. But then, I didn't even know what it was. I felt like maybe it's malaria. And my older sister would always tell me that when I feel sick, my dad liked hot stuff, pepper and a lot of, so we all have our palates are very, very spicy. So she had this thing that she'll do. She'll grind pepper and she'll eat it, just the pepper with something, rice or curry or something, and she feels better right after. So she told me that, oh, I should do that. I'll be fine, you know. And I actually did that and I was fine. And I didn't feel anything again for another like 2 or 3 months.
Really?
So for me, the thing is, when I realized I was pregnant, and at the time, was even after my baby daddy and he came to my house when my parents had gone out, and we had a lot of sex again on top of the pregnancy that we didn't know. So I felt a bit sick, and then we went to the hospital, and that's when we both found out that I was pregnant. Yes, that's when we both found out I was pregnant. But that was not even the surprise, because okay, it's no big deal. Maybe we can do something about it. But then it turned out I was 6 months pregnant, going on 7. It was crazy. It was really crazy, because I was like, what are we going to do about this? You know, he was scared. I was scared, because he was just a year older than me at the time.
At what age was this?
And if I tell you that, you know my age.
No, I just want to know. Like,
okay,
so
I was a teenager. I was 19 when I got pregnant. I was 19. Now I can't say my daughter's age, because then everybody will know my age.
Okay.
So when I got pregnant, I was 19. He was 20. But when I had my daughter in February, and a week later, the 11th of February is when I turned 20. So I had her a week before my birthday in the same month. But I mean, having to tell my parents that I was pregnant.
That's the part we're going to go to, because that's the
Oh my God.
is the most difficult of the conversation. Breaking the news to them, their reaction, and what happens afterwards. We're taking a quick break. When we're back, we want to look at this issue some more. Please stay with us.
Gino Magic Pepper and Onion, a delicious tomato mix with tomato, pepper and onion. No grinding, no blending. Ya yenini na da da da. So pa mediane no abe. Come on, Gino, do your magic. And papa no kunu abefi.
Tasty magic.
And your daddy trying to kiss keke.
Gino Magic Pepper and Onion. The magic that brings them home.
This advert is FDA approved.
Hey there, and welcome to Streets We Day. On this episode, we are at Circle going to ask people a few questions about the new products of Gino. Stay tuned and follow me. Pacho, you're proud say? Okay. Inti, your first question, one say, we should Gino adverts na. Omo onyumbi, and they know omo can be woho. Omo can they?
No, my Chris, hi, and I know.
3 sentences, 3 words. Wait me a catch me, Gino, bibi. Wait me a catch me.
Oh, let's do you wanna.
But I want to mean Gino.
Wow, I love Gino. I can't miss this one. Is Gino pepper and onion?
Yes, that's correct. So here's your gifts for it.
Wow, thank you.
Hey, Gino. Tomatoes paste. And yeah, the onion, na pepper wom, bibia wom. What the bought your love for no Gino, we go bought your love.
Gino. Perfume rice. No, I perfume rice. Different ones, Swaba.
Aye. But we tomato paste near there, Gino.
As for that, the
perfume
rice. No papa ni.
Just be us.
And I had to tell my parents, but I couldn't tell my dad. No way. I pictured that he would just slap me and I'll collapse and die.
So my mom was the first person I called. When I called her and she came in, she said, "You are pregnant." I said, "Yes."
Just be us.
Welcome back. It seems like we are entering the juiciest part of the conversation, where you have to break the news to your parents. Now, Natalia and Karen have been telling us, what happened prior to having their babies. And now I want to hear the part where I know that I would have left home There's no way I would have stayed at home because that one cloth that my mom kept telling me about,
you'd have collected it.
I'll collect it and then you sack me. Wherever you go, whoever impregnated you, go to that person's house. So I can only imagine how you had to now break the news. She was out of this country, so at least it was.
But my mom was there.
Your mom was there.
Yeah, my mom.
But moms they're quite lenient.
Well, it's rather my dad who is more, lenient. But I'll tell you what, as opposed to her, for me, I had finished uni and I was 24. My parents were disappointed as opposed to angry. Because I was an adult, I was paying my own rent, I was living by myself, so they were disappointed that they, the normal thing is to get married and
according
all that.
to society.
Yes.
But then society comes to tell us that not everybody will get married.
Well,
I wonder sometimes,
But that's hard to take.
Well, nobody wants it to be their child.
Yes. So I remember so well, I got pregnant, I found out in June, and before that was May, which was Mother's Day, and my boyfriend at the time, who I was pregnant with, I had gone to introduce my mom to him, and prior to this, I hadn't spoken to my mom for a whole year. Yes.
Were you living the same? Okay.
No, I was living in my own flat, and she was living somewhere else in South London. And I had gone to introduce him to my mother in May. Then I found out I was pregnant in June. Guess what? My mother was the first person I called when I was sick and I had been admitted to hospital because I was very sick. I was vomiting and all that. So my mom was the first person I called. When I called her and she came in, she said, "You are pregnant." I said, "Yes." It was. I can't even remember her exact expression, but I could tell a little bit of disappointment, but then again, she was happy that I was okay at the time, not because when I called her that I was in hospital, I was sick, she had to come all the way, and soon as she saw me, she said I was pregnant. I think her fear was that maybe something else was happening to me, but she was happy that I was okay. Then I think later when I was discharged, we had a discussion of me moving to come and live with her or something of that sort. Then immediately after, the talk of marriage came in. And you know how that can give you pressure, especially when you haven't even discussed it with your partner. So that was where the reality set in for me.
For you. Yeah. Natalia, you were telling us about how you had to break
the news to my parents. So what him and I decided was that I said, well, you go tell your parents first, and then you let me know after you've told them.
You still could find courage to say, go tell.
Because you see, at the time, I was almost 7 months. There was nothing to do. There was nothing to do. I'm sure when we found out, if it was like 2 months, maybe we would have just gotten rid of it and lived our lives. But what else is the option? And because I was afraid, I was like, you go do it first. Let me know how it goes for you. And then maybe I'll gather the courage to do mine. So yes, he went and told his parents first. Wow. And told me that he had told his parents, because I said what I knew for a fact was that when I told my mom would, I assumed, maybe because I don't know whether I was watching it on TV or something, but I assumed that my mom was going to hold my hand and drag me to
the person's
house. So I was like, you know what, just maybe before we come to your place, don't let it surprise your parents that this is what has happened. So when he told me he had told his parents, and I had to tell my parents, but I couldn't tell my dad, no way. In my mind, I pictured that he would just slap me and I'll collapse and die. Because my dad was really big and tall. So I told my mom. I told her one morning, I woke up really early, like 6 a.m., and I went to knock on their door. And then I told her I wanted to have a conversation with her. So we went to the living room, and I told her that I was pregnant. I didn't...
Just like that?
Just like that. I didn't butter her up. I didn't do anything. I just out with it. And she sat there for a few minutes and said, Kojo, I mean, my baby daddy, his name is Kojo, and said Kojo, and I said yes, because she knew him. We had been hanging out for a long time, and I said yes. And then she said, so what are we going to do? And then I said, we're going to get married. Because that's what he had told me. And she was like, are you serious? You're going to get married? And I said yes. And so, but that was not the surprise. She asked me, how long gone are you? And I said, almost 7 months. And that I could see really pierced through her, because I think it kind of made her feel like, but how could I not have seen this? Because I know mothers see these things, you know, they could just tell by you walking, you know, from your room to the kitchen, just by looking at you, they can tell that you're pregnant. So I think it kind of did something to her, that she had been with me, you know, that whole time and couldn't tell that I was pregnant, but that's just what it was. So yes, we went and did the whole family thing, whatever, and decided that after I had the baby, we were actually going to get married. But guess what? When I finished having my daughter, going through everything, my baby daddy and his family were actually ready to come. So what they had said was that we'll do the naming and we can do an engagement and everything. And about a month to that, I said, no, I don't want to get married.
Wow.
I said, I don't want to do it. I said that for whatever reason, I just felt like I'm only 20 years old. I don't know anything. I haven't lived any life. I can't be anybody's wife because I have nothing to offer anybody. You know what I mean? I barely even know who I am as a person. How do I become somebody's wife? You know, I think at the time I watched something on TV, and I don't remember who, but somebody was talking about, you know, the fact that you need to figure out who you are as a person before you try to get with another person.
That's Beyonce on Oprah's show.
Yeah, but I don't know if it was that, because that was like a long time ago. So I'm not sure, but I recall, and it really spoke to me, because I said, I'm 20. I don't know anything. All I know is how to have sex. And I don't think that's all it takes to be somebody's wife. Yeah, I didn't even know how to cook. I didn't know anything, you know. So I woke up and I told my mom that I don't want to get married. And she lamented, oh my God, I want to embarrass her. I want to bring shame to the family. How do I, So I think she and I went at it for a while, you know, and everybody was wondering. My aunties had to come in, my grandmother, but why? But I stood firm, and I was like, no, I can't do it. And I didn't do it. So, that was it. I didn't do it. So about 2 or 3 years, 4 years, my baby daddy went and married someone, you know, started his life and everything. And now he has...
That's what we're going to come to. And that's what I was just going to take a break and come to. And that will be the wrap up for us, because I've heard people say once you're a single mother, you have to find somebody who already has children. And what would the in-laws say about you? They'll say you were promiscuous, that's why you gave birth. And you know, and the men actually move on, and the women sometimes are just stuck. That's what we'll find out when we are back from this break.
Just be us.
Gino Magic Pepper and Onion, a delicious tomato mix with tomato, pepper and onion. No grinding, no blending. Ya yenina da da da. So pa mediane no abe.
Come on, Gino, do your magic.
And papa no kunu abefi.
Tasty magic.
And your daddy trying to kiss keke.
Gino Magic Pepper and Onion. The magic that brings them home.
This advert is FDA approved.
Hey there and welcome to Streets We Day. On this episode, we are at Circle going to ask people a few questions about the new products of Gino. Stay tuned and follow me. Pacho, your friend say? Okay. Inti, your first question, one say, we should Gino adverts na. Omo nyumbi, and they know omo can be woho. Omo can they?
No, my Chris, hi, and I know.
3 sentences, 3 words. Wait me a catch me, Gino, bibi. Wait me a catch me.
Oh, let me know.
But I want to mean Gino.
Me too,
Wow, I love Gino. I can't miss this one. Is Gino pepper and onion?
Yes, that's correct. So here's your gifts for it.
Wow, thank you.
Hey, Gino.
Gino.
Tomatoes paste. And the onion, na pepper wom, bibia wom. What the bunch of love for no Gino, we come back your love.
Gino.
Perfume rice. I perfume rice. Different ones, Swaba.
Aye. But we tomato paste near there. Gino.
As for that, the perfume rice. No papa ni.
Just be us.
So when I actually found this guy, it felt like too good to be true. So I avoided him for 3 years. I didn't have to lower my standard to find my spec. And he found me.
Just be us.
So this is the final moment where we get to find out how you move on to finding a partner after society tags you as born one. Oh, this one there is a taboo for us to marry from this family, and you know, how do I even introduce you to my mom? It's like, hey, now back home. You know, that kind of thing. And having a man who actually appreciates the fact that yes, you have a child, and I might not have one, or I have one, yet I want to live with you. Because like I said, I grew up hearing that once you have a child already, look for a man who has 2 or 3. Look for a divorcee. Look for a man whose wife died. You know, a lot of stories.
That's a big lie. That's a big lie. I met my husband in the UK when I had been living with my daughter by myself, raised her. You know, I've basically been a single mom for 8 years, right? Then I was in the UK for a short holiday, and then I met my husband who lives in Spain and had come to the UK for a short holiday as well. So, and he just saw me in a friend's house. We had a conversation, and the very first day he said, "You're laughing at all my jokes, I'll marry you." I said, listen, literally F off. Because I was so guarded. I was like, listen, I don't want to talk to any guy who will come and talk to me about marriage. You know, I was literally really so guarded that I just wanted to have a boyfriend, date, and you know, and
enjoy
just
yourself.
because at that time, one advantage of being a single mother was the fact that I felt like I had to work hard to prove to somebody that this is what you missed out or something. And the advantage of that was that it was telling in what I was doing. I mean, I was making money and I was raising my daughter so well. You know, I was very blessed to have her father be very responsible for her as well. And for him, from day one, he wanted his daughter and didn't want marriage. So I met a man when I was I was living my life, making my own money.
Did you also have children already?
No. So my husband, he's never been married.
Wow.
Didn't have kids anywhere. And you know, when I said to him, listen, my mom always says that when you meet a man who's never been married, who doesn't have kids, he's over 40, it's too good to be true. You have to find out.
What kept him all this while?
You know what I mean?
But I hear that as well.
My mom kept telling me that you will meet somebody who's never had a kid, who's never been married. Don't think that because you have a child, so you have to marry, you have to take it like that. No, you will find somebody who has never been married, doesn't have kids, that wants you. I thought it was impossible. So when I actually found this guy, it felt like too good to be true. So I avoided him for 3 years.
Wow.
Yes. Continuously, my husband would text me, and after 2 weeks, I say, hi. And I'll be gone. But it took another bad breakup from somebody for me to realize, there's this somebody somewhere. There's no drama around him. He likes me. Let me find out what's really going on. If this is something I can actually invest in. And it turned out that this is my husband. Never been married, never had kids, lives by himself, does his own job, great human being. And I'll tell you one thing. a lot of, well, for me, and let me speak for myself. When I got pregnant and I became a single mother, I used to hear a lot of stories like you have to lower your standards so that you find some, because at this point you have to take anybody who comes your way like that. So I was thinking, you know, is this thing too good to be true? There should be some bad something around it, so it's not possible. But then I realized that, you know, my standards were okay. I didn't have to lower my standard to find my spec. And I found, and he found me. No, we found each other. So what I'm trying to say is, when I decided that I will invest in our relationship, we got married only after like 9 months. Wow. Because he was so ready and waiting for you to just come along. And do you know one thing? You see, being a single mother, it does a lot of something to your brain. It constantly makes you feel like, why did he marry me? Like
what's about me?
Yeah. Like I constantly ask myself, like, you know, you live in Spain. There's so many beautiful white girls. You don't like any of them. You came all the way back to Ghana to marry me. Like, I need to know why.
What is it?
What is it? What is it? Yeah. You know, then I also sometimes ask myself, why not?
Why not? Why
you know,
not?
but then again, there's also a part of men these days who are very smart. A man. I met my husband in the UK when I had been living with my daughter by myself, raised her. You know, I've basically been a single mom for 8 years, right? Then I was in the UK for a short holiday, and then I met my husband who lives in Spain and had come to the UK for a short holiday as well. So, and he just saw me in a friend's house. We had a conversation, and the very first day he said, you're laughing at all my jokes, I'll marry you. I said, listen, literally F off. Because I was so guarded. I was like, listen, I don't want to talk to any guy who will come and talk to me about marriage. You know, I was literally really so guarded that I just wanted to have a boyfriend, date, and, you know, and enjoy yourself. Because at that time, one advantage of being a single mother was the fact that I felt like I had to work hard to prove to somebody that this is what you missed out or something. And the advantage of that was that it was telling in what I was doing. I mean, I was making money and I was raising my daughter so well. You know, I was very blessed to have her father be very responsible for her as well. And for him, from day one, he wanted his daughter and didn't want married. So I met a man when I was I was living my life, making my own money.
Did you also have children already?
No. So my husband he's never been married. Wow. Didn't have kids anywhere. And you know, when I said to him, listen, my mom always says that when you meet a man who's never been married, who doesn't have kids, he's over 40, it's too good to be true. You have to find out.
What kept him all this while?
You know what I mean? But
I hear that as well.
My mom kept telling me that you will meet somebody who's never had a kid, who's never been married. Don't think that because you have a child, so you have to marry, you have to take it like that. No, you will find somebody who has never been married, doesn't have kids, that wants you. I thought it was impossible. So when I actually found this guy, it felt like too good to be true. So I avoided him for 3 years. Wow. Yes. Continuously, my husband would text me, and after 2 weeks, I say, hi. And I'll be gone. But it took another bad breakup from somebody for me to realize, there's this somebody somewhere. There's no drama around him. He likes me. Let me find out what's really going on. If this is something I can actually invest in. And it turned out that this is my husband. Never been married, never had kids, lives by himself, does his own job, great human being. And I'll tell you one thing. A lot of, well, for me, let me speak for myself. When I got pregnant and I became a single mother, I used to hear a lot of stories like you have to lower your standards so that you find some, because at this point you have to take anybody who comes your way like that. So I was thinking, you know, is this thing too good to be true? There should be some bad something around it, so it's not possible. But then I realized that, you know, my standards were okay. I didn't have to lower my standard to find my spec. And I found, and he found me. No, we found each other. So what I'm trying to say is, when I decided that I will invest in our relationship, we got married only after like 9 months. Because he was so ready
and waiting
for you to just come along.
And do you know one thing? You see, being a single mother, it does a lot of something to your brain. It constantly makes you feel like, why did he marry me? Like
what's about me?
Yeah. Like I constantly ask myself, like, you know, you live in Spain. There's so many beautiful white girls. You don't like any of them. You came all the way back to Ghana to marry me. Like, I need to know why.
What is it?
What is it? What is it? Yeah. You know, then I also sometimes ask myself, why not?
Why not? Why
you know,
not?
but then again, there's also a part of men these days who are very smart. A man looks out for who he wants to marry. I've always discussed this with my friends. The time where men will go and find a woman from the village and change her life is past. A man is asking you, what do you do?
What do you bring on the table? What do you bring to the table?
What do you bring to the table? Like, how can I marry you so that we all have a comfortable life?
True.
And I think sometimes I tell my husband that you saw that I do my business. So if you don't, even if you don't send me money,
you still have
I'll
money.
sell and have money. So send me money. So yeah, I mean, I was very paranoid for a very long time. I think I don't know if I prayed for this marriage, but it's exactly what I envisioned my life to be: being married yet being so free and independent. And this is what my husband gives me. I can marry him 100 years. I tell him he's a very naughty guy. Like, he knows it. You know, we fight. We have our little, you know,
misunderstandings and all
general marriage problems. But then again, I tell him that one reason why I'll be married to him forever, he's allowed me to flourish, and I couldn't have asked for more.
Just being us. Just being us.
Forget about women who have kids or whatever. Men these days, Ankasa, they don't marry liabilities.
So, and I got married at home. It wasn't like a very big deal. I wanted to marry small.
Just being us.
Yeah, Natalia, what about you? So finally, when you were going to settle, did you have...
So for me, the settling part is like the last door. But I feel like the difficulty about being a single mother is all the frogs you have to kiss before you finally meet the prince.
Tell me about it.
Yes. Those frogs are demonic frogs. No, because I think in our parts of the world, men, well, now I feel like men are learning. You know, the days where men would just marry for marrying's sake, and a lot of men married a lot of liabilities because I'm looking for, I'll go and bring a woman from the village. She's beautiful. She'll bear me kids, and I'll name them, and I'll be king of
home. And
yes, I'll be king of my castle. But here's the thing: now, with the way the world is going, a lot of men know better. They know that I can't just have a wife who's only a wife. There has to be something. You know, what else is there? What are you going to contribute? Forget about women who have kids or whatever. Men these days, Ankasa, they don't marry liabilities. However, when you're starting to date again after you have a child, me, when I started to date again after I had a child, is when I dated Elon. Now that you started that conversation. And I have to say that he was an amazing, amazing, amazing boyfriend. As a matter of fact, him and I still think we're soulmates who have been lost to other people. I mean, he's an amazing human being. He was really good to me and my daughter. He was really, really good to me, to us, you know. So he was not a frog. He was actually a prince, but he couldn't stay for whatever reason.
You left him, he says.
You see that story, you know, but there's always the conversation. Because you have a child, I remember I dated this guy and I really, really liked him, and he equally liked me. I met his mother one time, and she blatantly said to my face that she asked me first, why didn't I marry my child? Why didn't my child's father and I get married? And I thought, I mean, you can't just ask me that, you know. I mean, I didn't say that to her, but I was thinking it. So I said to her that it's really complicated, you know, trying to be respectful and everything. And she said that I must not be a good woman, because if I were, I would have been married to the person I had a child with. And she doesn't see her son marrying someone who already has a child. That's not going to happen. And she said that right to my face. Wow. And it totally broke my heart, because, I mean, I really, really liked her son, and he equally it broke both our hearts, you know, because we didn't break it off immediately, but we kind of held on knowing that there's nothing here anymore. I mean, there's no way, it won't be, you know, so we had to let it go. And these are some of the things that you'd have to fight when you're a single parent, you know, because people will question. When you're a single mother, actually, they never question the men.
They never question the men.
They never question the men.
I've always said that if a man has 10 kids, he would easily find another woman tomorrow.
Yes.
You know, but for a woman, there's always a question. For me, I remember I had some you know, questions going to my husband from some people. I don't want to mention their names, and you know, I don't even want to go too deep into that, but they kept telling him that make sure that she has more kids before you marry her, because you know, it's been 8 years or so she had a kid, and because my husband doesn't have any kids, and he was 40, and his family kept telling him, listen, get married and have kids. So the pressure was on him. And I said, why not ask, if anybody should question who you know, can have more children, I should be the one asking those questions, because me, I already have a child. How about you? You didn't have any at all, but the pressure was on me to get pregnant again and make sure that I have another child for him before he marries me. And you know, fortunately, it didn't happen that way. But I've always said that being a single mother is not something that you plan. You know, if it happens to you, it's not a bad thing. Don't that self-pity that we have,
and for me, I think it took my confidence away for a minute, because I felt like I was lacking something, or I was not enough.
You're incomplete.
I was incomplete because I felt like, you know, when people are having conversations about stuff, Natalia, don't go and say something. They'll say, you just born girl, move away from here. So I kind of I didn't put myself out there a lot for the fear of being judged, or you know, people get to tag you and say all kinds of things. So I felt like I know my place. Let me be in my place. I don't want to go anywhere or try to be a part of anything where people get to say stuff to me that I may not want to hear, you know. And I feel like, well, I can't speak for anyone, but for me, it kind of broke me a little, you know. But then, in another way, it also it gave me growth. You know, suddenly the kind of thoughts that I would think are not thoughts that people my age would think. The kind of things I want to do are not things people my age want to do, you know. I mean, today I
can relate to that.
I know. Today
I became so over-ambitious that I want to be able to earn so much or be so great that it took an ex-boyfriend of mine to call me and said, I think sometimes you should tone down on how you post your daughter's photos, you know, and all the captions, because sometimes it comes across as if as though you're doing this to spice somebody or to pepper somebody or to let them know that, you know, you're good. But you don't but you don't really have to prove at any point to anybody. So, you know, he's somebody I respect a lot. We still talk, and we're still great friends. And, you know, when he said that, I was like, actually, you're right, you know, because in my head, sometimes at the back of my head, I was like, I need to prove to somebody that I'm doing so good, you know. And I was very blessed that in doing that, you see, everything has positives and negatives. In doing that, I gained confidence in being a single mother, technically. I'm just saying this in technical words. The confidence of showing off what I was or my status as a single mother came to light because I wasn't shy of letting people know that I'm a single mother, you know, raising my child and hustling and trying to get my life together. And, you know, the positive thing was that I was confident. You wouldn't know me and not know my daughter. So when I met my husband, he quickly knew who my daughter was, my relationship with her, the fact that she was everything to me. And if you're a man that you come to my life and you know this and you feel threatened or intimidated by it, then you're not the one for me. But I also chose my husband because one time, I remember when we were dating, he came to Ghana once and I left my daughter and him at home. So when I came back, we used to live on the top floor. And then when I came back, I heard like lots of noise, like, you know, people shouting and playing, and you know, I was like, what's going on? And it was my daughter's voice shouting and laughing, giggling so hard. So I was like, what's going on? When I got upstairs, it was the two of them playing and you know, messing about and just fooling, and that's when I said, I'm gonna marry this guy.
You know, because they say, love me, love my dog. Once he's actually. Because you were out of Ghana, was he Ghanaian or?
Yes, well, Ghanaian, born and bred in the UK. So, you know, even though he's Ghanaian, he has to be, his mentality is pregnancy is not a good enough reason to be married to somebody. And in hindsight, I agree with him.
I absolutely agree. I've always said to everyone I know, or everybody, I've actually seen two of my friends get married because they were pregnant and now they're divorced. And I actually told them before they got married, and then I got to tell them I told you so. Which is not something that, you know, I had to say out of, that I enjoyed saying it. But the thing is, don't you ever marry anybody just because she got pregnant. You would be very, very miserable. You know, there's so much more to marriage than just a baby. The week when I got married, everybody dealt with me differently.
Wow.
Yes, everybody, people I'd known already, people I'd just met, people, everybody from church, so work.
What is it differently? What does it mean?
So, so for instance, at work, when I got to work the week after, because I took a week off, the week after, as soon as I got to work, the security guy actually came to open my door for me.
Hey.
Yes.
Because you are now Mrs.
And then said, Mrs., you are welcome. And I was like, but I've been working here this whole time, you never get my door. You know, and, you know, I go in and the receptionist is like, oh, Mrs., you're welcome back to work.
For me also, the congratulatory messages were more, it was more like, something out of the ordinary has happened. You know,
it was like we're crossing our legs waiting to see when she's going to get married.
And for me, I was very quiet about getting married and my whole dating period.
Our faces,
you know, I was really quiet about the whole time until, you know, I just got married. So, and I got married at home. It wasn't like a very big deal. I wanted to marry small. Like that's, every time I do something very intimate, I like it to be small and to have the people that matter. I will tell you what, the first time I tagged my husband on Instagram, he said, oh, I didn't get plenty followers, maybe only 2,000. I'm telling you,
2,000 extra people
following him, and for him it was like, what's going on, Karen? What has happened? Like, people want to know why, who married me, like why, you know, it's listen, don't underestimate the whole thoughts that people have about single mothers in our part of this world.
Well, I guess with all the conversation we've had, you've moved away from that stereotyping. Oh, she's a single mother, she's a single mother. You've moved past that, and definitely you are able to share the story with a lot of people. I just hope that anybody who finds themselves in that space for a minute would also not think that that's the end. This is it. So let me come back to myself. They told me to go through the right process. Here am I, you know, still waiting for that baby to come.
It will come.
You know, it's not cast in stone.
I'm telling you,
it's not cast in stone. Whatever life throws at you, just make sure that you own it and manage it.
Own it. Yeah.
And to share your beautiful stories with us. I am touched and I'm impressed that you can confidently speak about these things without being bothered about what anybody thinks.
I used to cry talking about it. So when I spoke about this and I didn't cry, it means I've gone
you've gone past it. Yeah. Thank you guys so much. Thank you guys so much. And I'm sure that everybody who's watched has enjoyed it. I have been inspired, and I know that, you know, when I'm raising my daughters, I know what to tell them this time around. Not what they told me, not all the lies they told me. But that's it for today's edition of Just Being Us. I hope that you enjoyed this edition as well with Natalia and Karen and myself. Until we come your way again next week, keep being yourself, because we are just being us.
Just being us. Inspire somebody, motivate somebody. We no kill nobody, we no diss nobody. We don't want nobody's trouble. All we do is share our stories. We just been ourselves. We just been ourselves. We just been ourselves. We just been ourselves. Yeah. We just been us. We just been us. We just been us. We just been.
Gino Magic Pepper and Onion, a delicious tomato mix with tomato, pepper and onion. No grinding, no blending. Ya yenyi na da da da. So pa mediane no abe.
Come on, Gino, do your magic.
And papa no kunu abefi.
Tasty magic.
And your daddy trying to kiss keke.
Gino Magic Pepper and Onion. The magic that brings them home.